What was your level of concern that we wouldn't get to this point that we are today?
Well, I guess the best way to say that is we had some very nervous days early on. Obviously, well documented the issues we had with the Marlins and the Cardinals. Obviously, when you're talking about people's health, you have to be cautious, and it was a genuine concern for me.
With all the bickering over the amount of games that were to be played, the money to be divvied up, how tough personally for you was it to get the season started?
Look, the beginning of the season getting to the beginning of the season was not a great chapter for the game. I am sorry that we subjected our fans to that, but it was a very, very difficult situation. I think some of the expectations as to what could be accomplished in the context of the pandemic were just too high. And we did resist the temptation to try to bite off too much and got to, I think, a season that was reasonable and obviously one that we were able to complete.
We are being joined by Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred just hours away from Game 1 of the World Series tonight in Arlington between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, which you can hear, Keys Dodgers, you can hear on ESPN Radio with pregame coverage starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Commissioner Manfred, given that we've made it this far with all of the acrimony between your side and Tony Clark and the Major League Baseball Players Association, how would you describe the relationship you have with the MLBPA right now?
Well, I think that, it's important to take the perspective. Labor relations, you're going to have your ups and downs. You're not going to see eye to eye on every issue. I think once I announced the 60-game season, the cooperation that we've gotten from Tony and the Players Association has been really, really good. They helped us tremendously after the initial outbreaks in terms of tightening the protocols and speaking to players, encouraging players how important it was to adhere to those protocols. And then, later on in the summer, they agreed with us that we should get into a single site, bubble type format for the postseason. We were able to reach that agreement. Work through the logistics of that were really difficult and, required additional sacrifice for players. So, we've had great cooperation from the union once we got going.
Commissioner, what led to the decision to allow fans in the stadium for both the NLCS as well as the World Series?
Well, number one, we were in a jurisdiction that allowed gatherings of the numbers that we're talking about. Obviously, we were never going to do anything that was contrary to what the public health officials believed was appropriate. Once we had that flexibility, we went to our experts. We had extensive conversations about how we could have fans in the ballpark, how many we could have, what protocols we needed to follow in order to make sure that it was safe. And once those experts came back with a plan that we thought was sound, we really did believe it was important to try to move towards a more normal environment where people could get back in the ballpark and enjoy Major League Baseball.
Commissioner, I wanted to ask you, the initial outbreaks with the Marlins and the Cardinals, which threw everything into a tizzy schedule-wise, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the day, all but two teams actually completed their 60 regular season games, so pretty much almost the entire regular season was played, and now I mentioned the nearly 2 months without a positive test for COVID-19 because of your great players, as you said. I wonder, what does that mean for possibly getting back to 162 games next season here?
Wow. Look, one thing that I've learned during this pandemic, the prediction business is a dangerous business. Obviously, we would love to play 162. It is our business. It's the season that our fans expect and love. The only caveat on it is what's going to happen with respect to what has proven to be a very unpredictable virus.
Are you confident that the season will start on time in 2021?
I have to give you the same answer. Our plan is to start on our regular schedule. We've issued a schedule for next year, but I think that the reality is all planning for 2021 for us and for every other business in America has to have an asterisk next to it in terms of what the course of the virus is going to be.
Indeed. Obviously, the virus is in control. Lastly, this is something I always wonder when I see Commissioner Bettman, Commissioner Goodell, Commissioner Silver, and, of course, yourself. It's a long, hard road to get here. Pandemic, labor. Obviously, you have a labor lawyer background. What's it just like for you to be able to, as a fan, like millions of us do, sit back and watch the World Series knowing that you'll be handing out that trophy? I know you're a professional. You run Major League Baseball, a $10 billion a year industry. But what's it just like for you at this time of year?
I think that the greatest thing about the postseason, actually, in the World Series being the culmination of it, is the one time a year when I really get back to being a fan. I watch a ton of postseason baseball. I try to see as much of it live as I possibly can. And it is a welcome respite from the business side of the game, just to go to the ballpark, be a fan, and enjoy what we regard to be the greatest game in the world.
Real quick before I let you go, you will be attending the games, correct?
Oh, yeah, I'll be in. I actually attended a game at each of the Division Series sites so I could see the bubbles, and I will be in Texas tonight and there for the duration.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.